Stay dandy, baby. Episode 200 of Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. Let that sink in for just a second. The 200th episode of the series. In the back of my mind, when the Boruto anime first started, and that also sort of includes the Boruto manga series, I never expected that it would go this far. I always initially thought that the Boruto franchise was just going to be some nice supplement to Naruto, showing us a bit of some of the things that are going to be happening in the future of the series. But little by little, the Boruto franchise has been carving out its very own identity. And the 200th episode was honestly a pretty solid one. It wasn't anything like massive or grandiose. There wasn't some like big epic ninja battle going on. But it did feature a lot of the big major characters from the series. Not only the brand new ones, such as Boruto, Sarada, Mitsuki, and of course the brand new edition Kawaki, but also a lot of those classics, Naruto, Sasuke, and even a nice, very short visit from everybody's favorite nine-tailed fox, Kurama, and it was pretty solid all across the board. There's a lot of big things that are going on in this episode, so let's go ahead and talk about the highlights of the 200th episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generation. So this one picks up immediately from the end of the last one with a big battle with Delta, and we get to see that Kawaki has suffered a massive injury. He has lost his arm. Luckily, everybody in Konoha Village has adapted to this brand new form of cybernetic enhancement technology, and that includes prosthetics. And Professor Katasuke in the past was creating all of these like brand new, really kick-ass looking robotic arms for Naruto, and they decide to actually use one of these for Kawaki. The catch, of course, is this prosthetic arm is going to be powered exclusively by Naruto's Chakra. And this acts as not only just, a means of activating this prosthetic arm, but it's also a little bit of a metaphor and sort of like a bigger, deeper meaning for the themes of what Chakra is all about, which is not unleashing devastating ninjutsu techniques or enhancing your power. No, it's all about connection. It's basically the Force from Star Wars. That's basically what Naruto has been trying to jam into Kawaki's head ever since he brought him to the village. That chakra is simply a connection. It's something that brings people together, and thematically it comes no more powerful than the moment where Naruto uses his very own chakra to allow Kawaki to use this brand new prosthetic arm, which I think is honestly pretty freaking cool. Of course, it's not going to work 24/7 whenever Naruto is asleep. It's basically going to be completely useless. But the good thing is, about 90% of the time, Kawaki's going to be able to use this arm, and he immediately takes to it with gusto. Boruto stupidly thinks it looks really awesome, and while it does look awesome, he doesn't realize, or even thinks at the moment, the reason he has it is because some crazy robotic bitch blew his arm off in the first place. Still, I have to admit, I do agree with Boruto. It does look really awesome, and they immediately get to try it out as they go through a big training session, as Kawaki has got to learn the ways of the ninja. He's got to learn to actually use ninjutsu techniques. He can't just constantly rely on the karma stuff, even though he is going to be using quite a bit of that. But we get a nice little training sequence between him and Naruto, and we get to see that arm in action, and it's some pretty sweet stuff, especially when Kawaki unleashes the power of karma like right in Naruto's face with like a big old blast, like something out of Dragon Ball Z. It's some pretty intense stuff, and I really do like it. We also get to see that Sarada is training with her father Sasuke to learn the ancient Chidori technique, which is definitely one of the fan favorite attacks from the series, originally used by my favorite character in the series, Kakashi. Sasuke, of course, mastered it, and now he's trying to teach it to his daughter. And I really loved how he showed it off in this episode. They go out to that classic waterfall where they're training in Konoha Village, and Sasuke is able to use this, powering it up, showing that you have to have extreme precision and power to use it. He ends up blasting the waterfall, creating like a massive explosive effect where the water suddenly crashes down. It's big, it's epic, and it's pretty freaking awesome. I loved that moment. And even Sarada is starting to learn this technique, but before the training can go any further, conveniently, Sasuke has to leave and go on some sort of big secretive mission with Sai. We also get some moments with the Kara organization in this episode, which I think is also really cool. We get to see that while Delta was completely wrecked by Naruto and her body exploded, she has a couple more which are just waiting in the wings. The cool thing about being a android is that you can upload your consciousness into a brand new body, and that's confirmed in this episode when that weird triangular drone actually returns to their secret hideout and immediately goes into a brand new body for Delta. And she is just pissed, livid. And apparently this isn't the first time that she's gone through a new body, and every single time she does it, she just manages to explode out of her capsule, much to the anger of Amato. But basically it confirms that a lot of these characters are going to have a second lease on life, even if their body is completely eradicated. Delta, of course, is predictably pissed, and she has a small moment with Boro, who slowly but surely they're starting to expand upon a little bit more, especially in the anime version, which I think is really cool. And again, he doesn't seem to have a problem with being called a traitor. He says the big solution here is if there is a traitor amongst the group, we're just going to kill everybody and we'll start fresh and brand new. Boro's an interesting character, and I'm looking out to see what they're going to do with him, especially how they expanded him in the last episode with him leading his cultist group. That was stuff that did not exist in the manga version, so I hope that means we're going to get some more material with him in the hopefully immediate future. I think all that stuff's going to be cool. But do have a nice little meeting between all the different Kara members, with Delta talking about everything that happened in Konoha Village, with the fact that now Boruto has his very own karma, much to the shock and surprise of Jigen, who definitely knows all about Momoshiki and everything, and of course the power of the karma. And he doesn't seem all that upset about it, as he just seems kind of interested in to see what's going to be going on here. As, again, a lot of the times these villains, when they get defeated, they're done and they're gone, but characters like Delta and characters like Momoshiki, who are seemingly defeated, are still waiting in the shadows, preparing to do their next big thing, and I think that's really awesome. I can't wait to see the potential return of Momoshiki, as I thought he was a pretty intriguing villain who got snuffed out a little too early, and the fact that his presence is still sort of always shown in the series is pretty freaking awesome. I really do love that. But again, most of this episode, again, was just training sequences and getting to see all of the characters come together, form their teams, and basically just spend more time together. But there is one final stinger at the very end of the episode, which I thought was really awesome, where you see that Kawaki is not only being influenced by Naruto, but also all of the other friends that he's interacting with. He's even getting a lot more friendly with Boruto. There's a great scene where they go to Konoha Village to buy these ninja trading cards, something they've shown a couple times in the series. And Boruto, being, around his dad all the time, gets upset that he's constantly getting these cards of his dad. But the very first card that friggin' Kawaki draws is Minato Namikaze, the friggin' fourth Hokage, the grandfather of Boruto. And this is where basically Kawaki extends that weird freaky deaky monstrous olive branch to him, and they decide to become friends a little bit, knowing that forming these bonds with people is going to be very important, especially if he's going to be staying in the village the whole time. He ends up trading cards with Boruto. Boruto's really happy, but then Kawaki walks away like the super badass edgelord that he is, and then he goes home and he does something kind of enduring. He continues to work on Himawari's vase, trying to fix it, and he almost has it perfect, except for one small piece which is leaking water, and he decides that he's going to go try and find this after hours. But right as he's leaving the room, suddenly everybody's favorite fox, Kurama, just decides to pop up in big old freaky chakra form, and he suddenly just freaks out Kawaki. I know if I saw a giant fiery looking fox face just appear above my bed as I was going to the pisser, I would probably end up shitting my pants, and it's a pretty cool looking image. It's one of those moments that I think looks a lot better in the anime version, if only for the color, the atmosphere, and of course Kurama's oh so cool voice. It is just a really great way to end the episode. So, what's the rundown on this episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations? I love the themes of this episode. I think they're very strong things, especially the entire moment with Kawaki getting his brand new arm and it being infused with Naruto's chakra. Like I said, it goes perfectly with what Naruto's been trying to teach Kawaki about the connections of chakra itself. Without Naruto's chakra, his arm would not be able to function. There's now a physical and sort of an emotional connection between these two characters. Hell, you can even just pour in a little bit of that spiritual connection in there, all the stuff that's tied to the power of chakra itself. And it makes for some very strong theming in this episode and some really great metaphorical moments. Again, I also just love the look of Kawaki's arm. It's really simple, it's very human looking, but it's very clear that it's also prosthetic and kind of mechanical with the weird markings and circuitry all over it, but it still manages to look really awesome. Again, I think it was stupid that Boruto was like, I want a prosthetic arm, but it does look really cool. I have to admit, I thought that was actually some pretty great stuff. I also loved all the moments with Sarada and Sasuke. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, manga readers. I don't know if this was actually a scene that existed in the manga or if it's something that did happen in the manga. It was at a completely different part, but it seems like they were adding it to this story. But I liked it. I really loved seeing all the characters interacting with their parents yet again and going through some training sequences. I think that's some important material to have in the series. And they're doing a great job of showing Kawaki getting a lot closer with not only Naruto, but his teammates as well, whether it's through the training sequences or even that small moment where they were trading cards with one another. Again, it manages to make the character feel a little bit more realistic and human, and you actually get to see some change from him. He's still got that sort of edginess to him that he'll probably always have. Again, the parallel between Boruto, Kawaki, Naruto, and Sasuke has been there ever since the introduction of that character. They're basically the next generation versions of these characters, but it still manages to feel pretty fresh in many senses, and a lot of that is owed to the brand new world that they've been creating in the series, which is inhabited by some very mysterious and interesting villains, the Chakra. I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with some of these other brand new members. Like I said, I love what they did with Victor when they introduced him into the series. I kind of hope they do a little bit more with maybe Delta and Boro as well, as they are just rife for development. And considering that we're catching up pretty freaking fast to the actual current storyline in the manga, it's inevitable that we're going to get some anime original moments here. And I expect it at this point. The entire Boruto anime has just been laden with it from like the beginning to end. So I just want to see more of it. But it is crazy that we've already reached 200 episodes of the series, and it looks like it's just going to continue to go strong, as the Boruto series has been very successful. People continue to watch it, so I'm going to continue to watch it too. As someone who's a longtime fan of the Naruto franchise, I definitely want to see what's going to be happening next in this world and to see how it's going to develop, especially with all the brand new anime original content, which they're probably going to be giving us very soon. I can't wait to see how that's going to expand on the manga adaptation as well. Otherwise, I thought that this was a really good, heartfelt, cool episode featuring a lot of fan favorite characters, very appropriate for a big episode in a series that already has 200 episodes. It was a celebratory moment, and I can't wait to see what's next. I really enjoyed this episode. It wasn't perfect, but still very enjoyable, very fun to watch, something that I think all Naruto and Boruto fans should definitely check out. I'm going to give the episode a 4 out of 5, and I'd really love if you guys could give me your thoughts about this episode. Make sure to tell me them in the comments section below. Maybe think about subscribing to the channel if you like these videos, maybe giving it a thumbs up. And hey, why not? Why don't you check out my Patreon? Make some monthly donations to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. It certainly does mean a lot. Remember, first-time donators, I'll review an anime series of your choosing, as well as adding your name to this list of all these awesome people that you're currently seeing on screen. That's right, they're the superpowered ninjas of Ace Guru. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.